Today I want to talk about 6 obstacles that you might face when starting your career change process. If you clicked on this video, then chances are that you are aware that you are not in the place that you want to be and that you want to make a career change, but somehow for whatever reasons you haven't really done anything about it yet and you feel kind of stuck where you are. And the reason why you feel stuck and haven't made a move yet is likely because you are facing an obstacle. This could be one major obstacle, or it could also be a series of obstacles. My hopes are that by the end of this video you will have a better understanding of what kind of obstacles you personally are facing in your process. I won't go into too much detail, but what I will do is I will briefly propose a solution, because my plan is in the coming months to make more videos to zero in more specifically on each of these obstacles. Obstacle number 1 is that you do not know what career path you want to pursue. So at this stage, you might have a strong feeling that you are not where you are supposed to be. And you know for sure, almost 100% or 99% that you no longer want to be in the profession that you are right now. You do not want to work in the industry where you are working right now, and you just want to get out of there, and you desperately want a career change. But the problem is that you do not know where you want to go. What is the solution to this? So what can you do about it? The first thing that you need to do is to get hands-on, because you might have some ideas currently in your head now, maybe certain career paths that you think are attractive to you that you might want to follow, but as long as you don't have hands-on experience, it's really abstract. It's really difficult to tell whether or not this is something that you want to pursue. If after hearing this you think that, okay, this is one of the biggest obstacles that I'm personally facing, then I would recommend you to check out my other video, which talks about the first step that you should do in your career change process. Obstacle number 2 is confusion about where to start. So you might already know your aim clearly in terms of you know what career path you want to follow, but perhaps there is confusion about what to do, or maybe what to do first. Should you get a second degree, a master's or a PhD degree, or join a course, or maybe just do some training or go to a workshop? There are so many possibilities that can lead to where you want to go. What you need to do in the initial phases of career change is to do a lot of exploration and experimentation. So what you need to do is to go out there and join as many activities as possible where you actually have the chance to meet people who are already working in the field, in the career that you want to work in, and which allows you to actually interact with them and talk to them and ask them questions about their process. The only criteria I think is important to note when choosing these activities is that they should, in the beginning at least, be low risk and low investment. Low risk meaning that by joining these you actually have nothing to lose. And by low investment, I mean that these activities should not cost you too much. You shouldn't invest too much money or too much time in a way that is disproportionate to the stage where you are at. So this would mean that, for example, before you decide to enroll in a university program, which will take a lot of time and high investment, what you can first do is try to join more of those events and seminars that maybe only take 1 or 2 hours and also do not cost that much to explore more. Obstacle number 3 is fear of failure, and this is something that I myself experience all the time. For example, if I start writing one of my blog posts, like shortly before, I always feel like a bit of fear about how it will turn out. Like, for example, will this blog post be good enough? Will I have something important and relevant to say? And so on. I think it's a completely normal part of life, and most people, like almost everyone, experience some fear of failure. But what I think is important is to try to identify what kind of failure it is that you are afraid of. Are you afraid to embarrass yourself, or are you afraid to get fired? Are you afraid to lose money? So I think it's a very useful exercise to find out what exactly am I afraid of in this particular case. And only if you know what you're afraid of will you be able to try to overcome that. Obstacle number 4 is the fear of trying something new, and this is related to the fear of failure, but it's slightly different. So in this case, you are not really afraid that you would fail, but you are afraid of the unknown, of the uncertainty. So maybe it's like, in a very simple example, it's like when trying out a new restaurant. Maybe you are afraid of trying new dishes that you haven't tried before, and you are concerned that it doesn't suit your taste very well, or that you perhaps don't like it, or that you end up paying too much, or whatever. And here my suggestion would be to start with something very small. Set yourself a goal that is so small that you have no reason to be afraid to try it. If you want to start a YouTube channel but you are extremely afraid of speaking, then try to start small. Don't immediately make a 10-minute video. Start by, for example, doing a 1-minute tutorial video, and you can start by not even showing your face. You can just do a screen recording and just add your audio to it. Obstacle number 5 is finances. So you might already know what you're aiming at, you roughly know how to get there, and you're not even really afraid about the process. But what you are concerned about is how to make the finances work. And you are right to be concerned about finances, because the way you manage your finances can make or break the whole thing. It's like in a game where your character has a certain level of energy, and once you only have 1 life left and your energy drops to a very low point, once that is gone, the game is practically over and you do not have any possibility to continue the game anymore. Of course, I mean, in gaming you can just restart the game, but in real life, once you are really out of money or you really go deep into debt, it's really difficult to get out of there, and you really don't want to get into that place. So you need to plan your finances in the way that will allow you enough flexibility and enough time and give you a buffer. It is really important to realize that career change really takes time, and you should indeed leave some room for error. So you shouldn't plan your finances in a way where you assume that everything goes according to plan, meaning that you should always have sufficient backup. In future, I will definitely make a separate video and go into more detail. So for now, just remember that if you want to make a career change, make sure that you really think about your finances in detail. Think about different scenarios that could happen in future, whether you are starting a new business or a new profession. Try to imagine different scenarios that could happen in future from a financial perspective, and try to anticipate that in advance while you are still in your old job and still earning a fixed salary. Obstacle number 6 is a self-image that is hard to change. Once you have worked for a considerably long time in a certain job or profession, let's say that you are a consultant or you are a teacher, it is really difficult to start seeing yourself as something different than that. So let's take, for example, the teacher. If you've been teaching, let's say, elementary school for 8 years, and now you are thinking of changing your career quite extremely to become an architect, it might be in the beginning very difficult to imagine yourself not being a teacher anymore but being an architect. This self-image can become so strong and so fixed that it can be very difficult for us to change, and can in some cases become an obstacle. On the surface, it might seem that the change you're going through is very drastic. In essence, what's important to remember is that your self-image is something that can change over time. And it will not happen immediately, but once you start that process, the career change process, then over time, gradually your self-image will change along with that, and in the end, it will just feel natural. So these were the 6 obstacles that you might encounter in your process of career change. I'm really curious to know which ones of these 6 you find most relevant in your case, and also let me know if you are perhaps encountering any other types of obstacles, and please drop them in the comments below. I really hope that this was useful to you, and I hope that now you have a better understanding of what kind of obstacles you are facing right now, and that you have at least an idea of how you can start tackling them. Whatever challenges you are facing at the moment, remember that the fact that you are facing a lot of obstacles might be a sign that whatever you are pursuing is something that is worthwhile. If you think this video was useful to you and you don't want to miss out on any other videos related to career change that I will publish every week, you might want to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.